Okay, so you've been dreaming about this move. You've been dreaming about living in Henrico County. You've been dreaming about the neighborhood, the new construction, the kitchen with the island that you've been wanting for years. But somewhere in the back of your mind, there is a number that you cannot quite make add up. And you are not sure if that means that you're just simply not ready, or if it just means that nobody has told you the full picture yet. Here's the truth. Every agent will tell you what a home in Henrico County costs to buy. Almost none of them will tell you what it costs to own. And that gap between the purchase price and the real monthly number is exactly where buyers get blindsided. So that is what this video is about today, friends. The full picture. Housing costs, utilities, taxes, the fees nobody mentions until you're already under contract, and how Henrico County stacks up against the rest of Virginia. So by the time we're done with this video today, you're going to know exactly what this move is going to cost you and whether it's the right move for your family right now. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey friends, welcome back. I'm Sonali Hutson, and that moment right there is exactly why I made this video. I'm a Christian real estate agent serving Henrico County in the full I-64 corridor, and I've walked alongside enough self-employed buyers to know that the number on the sign is never the whole story. Today, we're breaking down the real cost of living in Henrico County, Virginia in 2026. We're going to look at all of the surprise costs that you did not know about, everything your builder rep is not going to volunteer unless you ask. Now, only if you're buying new construction does this matter, but you've worked too hard and you've come too far to get blindsided after you sign on the dotted line, and I cannot just sit back and let that happen to y'all, okay? So if you are a move up buyer, an upsizer who is finally ready to step out of the home that no longer fits your life and into the life that you've been building toward, then this video, my friends, is for you. Stick with me all the way through, because I'm also going to tell you the one thing that most buyers skips that ends up costing them a lot of money. And we're trying to help you keep money in your pockets, okay? We got a lot of life to live. We got traveling to do. We got shoes and bags to buy, okay? And if you're already past the research phase and you're ready to talk strategy, all you have to do is get in touch. You can text me at 757-837-0096. There's also a link in the description that you can book a free consultation. There's no pressure. We'll just have an honest conversation about where you are and what we need to do to get you to your next level. I'll help you level up into the next home that the Lord has for you. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Let's talk about housing first, specifically new construction, because this is where the gap between expectation and reality tends to be the widest gap. So when you're looking at new construction in Henrico County, the price on the website is just the base price. That's the builder's starting point for the most stripped down version of the home. Honey, it is not what you see in the model home, okay? And I don't tell you that to discourage you. I say it because you need to know what you are actually working with before you fall in love with the specific floor plan, before you fall in love with the neighborhood, and Lord forbid, before you finally choose a builder. Now in 2026, a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new construction home in the areas most of my clients are targeting, like Short Pump, Glen Allen, and Wyndham, it's going to run you over $500,000, all the way up to $700,000, $800,000, even over $1 million once you've added upgrades and lot premium. And trust me, you're going to want to add some of them. You're going to walk through that model home, you're going to look at those quartz countertops, you're going to look at the spa shower, the finished basements, and honey, you are going to want it bad. Now listen, this is not a weakness. This is called knowing what you want after years of feeling like you've settled for less. So if you can relate to that, listen, no judgment here. I'm just trying to give you some facts. The mortgage on a $550,000 home with 20% down at a 6.5% interest rate puts your principal and interest somewhere between $2,800 and $3,500 a month. Before taxes, before insurance, before HOA fees, which in many Henrico communities can add another $50 to $150 a month. So I want you to have the real number in your head and not the one that only works on paper. Now let me take a real quick pivot, because I want to talk to my self-employed friends watching this. So listen up, small business owners. Unless you use a bank statement loan, your lender is going to look at your tax returns. And if you've been running your business the right way, but what happens is when you write off all of those eligible business expenses, it reduces your taxable income. So your income on paper may look a lot smaller than what you actually bring in. I have been through this exact situation, and I've watched this exact situation stop good buyers in their track. Not because they couldn't afford the home, but because they walked into the wrong lender's office and did not get options. So I want you to know that there are lenders who specialize in self-employed borrowers, lenders who know how to read a profit and loss statement, how to work with bank statement loans, how to actually tell your financial story to an underwriter to help you. Getting in front of the right one is not step 5 5 in this process, it is step 1. If you want a referral, then that's what our first conversation is going to be for. So again, if you want to talk strategy, you need to hit me up, 757-837-0096, because I specialize in helping small business owners. Now let's talk about what it costs to actually live in the home once you own it, because the mortgage is the biggest number, but it's not the only number. Utilities on a new construction home in the 2,500 square foot range, which is very typical for a move-up buyer in Henrico, are going to run you somewhere between $150 to $250 a month for electricity in the summer and $80 to $150 in cooler months. Water and sewer is going to run over $100. Natural gas, which most new builds use for the range and the tankless water heater, that can add another $50 to $100 in your colder months, okay? The internet in Henrico is competitive. Budget $60 to $100. And if you're running a business from home, you are not cutting corners on internet speed, right? Because you gotta have the speed to work. That's an operating expense. Now, groceries for a household in suburban Richmond in 2026 are running $600 to over $1,000 a month, depending on your family size. Henrico has excellent options like Wegmans, Trader Joe's, Fresh Market, Publix. All the major chains are right here. They're convenient, but they're not cheap. And if you're finally hosting that amazing Sunday dinner in a home that you are proud of, I want that for you. So I want you to budget toward the higher end, okay? Now, transportation is something that relocating buyers consistently underestimate. Henrico County is suburban and car dependent. You're gonna need 2 vehicles. Commute times to downtown Richmond for most of Henrico run 15 to 30 minutes depending on where you are. Gas tracks near the national average. And here's something that catches Virginia newcomers off guard every single time. Virginia has a personal property tax on vehicles. Every year, based on your car's assessed value, you're going to get a bill for your property taxes. On a newer vehicle, that can easily be $500 to $800 or more annually. And trust me, I paid the more. I want you to have that number before that number actually surprises you. Whew, y'all, let's talk about these property taxes, okay? This is the surprise element that many first-time home buyers have no idea about until they get their statement, and then they're confused and they're calling me or they're calling their lender like, what in the world is this, okay? Now, Henrico County's real estate tax rate in 2026 is 87 cents per $100 of assessed value. On a home assessed at $550,000, that's approximately $4,785 a year, billed semi-annually, meaning 2 payments of roughly $2,400 each. Most buyers are going to roll this into their escrow so it feels invisible on the monthly payment, but it's real money, and I want you to see it clearly. Homeowners insurance on a new construction home in Henrico is going to run you $1,500 to $2,500 a year for a solid policy. If you're coming from coastal Hampton roads, you may actually find this number to be a little bit of a relief, because hurricane exposure and flood zone pricing on the coast is a different conversation entirely. Inland Henrico is generally more favorable on insurance costs. Shop it regardless. Don't default to whoever the builder recommends to keep your insurance. And by the way, speaking of your builder, you need to know the builder's sales agent is not your agent. I know they are friendly, they might even be cute, they might even be knowledgeable. I know the model home is beautiful. I know they're going to tell you they're to help, but friends, they are there to protect the builder's interest, okay? Not your interest. That is their job, hands down. They're to sell the builder's product, and nothing is wrong with that. That's their job. But your job is not to forget that they're not there for you. I've sat with buyers who walked into a new construction sale without their own representation, and they left a lot of money on the table, and I don't want that to happen for you. And it wasn't because they were smart. It's just because they didn't know what questions to ask, what to audit in the incentive package, or why a third-party inspection matters even on a new construction home. So yes, y'all, even new construction homes, brand new homes, they need independent inspections, okay? So I've seen it catch real issues before closing that saved my clients from inheriting someone else's construction problem. This is why you need your own real estate agent. Having your own agent in a new construction transaction is going to cost you nothing. The builder is going to pay the buyer's agent commission usually. You're going to bring someone in your corner at zero cost to you for the most part. There's no reason not to, especially if you know that this is what I do, okay? So now, let me give you a quick perspective on how Henrico compares to the rest of Virginia, because I know a lot of you watching this might be coming from Hampton Roads, or you might be coming from Northern Virginia, and you want to know how the numbers actually stack up, right? All right, so new construction in Henrico is generally priced a little higher than comparable product in Suffolk or parts of Chesapeake, but it's going to be in line with Virginia Beach's newer suburban development. What that premium buys you in Henrico is consistently strong public schools, a well-maintained suburban infrastructure, and a community feel that my clients who have made this move describe as exactly what they're looking for. Of course, we've talked about the tree-lined streets, neighbors who know your name, a home office that actually functions and has enough space for you to do your thing from home. Now, everything is going to be within a short drive unless you have to go to the city. Compared to Northern Virginia, Fairfax, Loudoun, Arlington, Henrico is genuinely more affordable, often by a significant margin. The quality of life per dollar in Richmond Metro is hard to beat in Virginia. Now, what Henrico does not have is the water. So if oceanfront or bay access is part of your Hampton Roads lifestyle right now, then that's going to be a real trade-off worth naming honestly. I'll always give you the full picture, not just the part that's going to make you move faster, so you really want to think, okay, am I ready to give up living so close to the water? So it's story time, okay?
So friends, I want to tell you about a couple I work with. Now, I'm not going to share all of the details because of course I have to protect their privacy, but their story is one that I have lived alongside more times than I can count. Listen, self-employed, strong income, years of watching other families from their church step into a beautiful new home while they stayed put, wondering what was wrong with them, doing the math in their heads at 2 a.m. And when they finally reached out to me, we didn't just start by looking at houses. We started by mapping the full financial picture, qualifying income, the right lender, the real monthly budget, including every line item we talked about today. And when they saw the full picture laid out for them clearly, something in their spirit shifted. See, the fear, of course, did not go away completely, but it stopped running the show. They closed on their Henrico County home, and the first thing my client texted me after the move-in weekend was a photo of her dining room table full of her family, because friends, that is what this is about. Here's the bottom line, friends. The cost of living in Henrico County in 2026, y'all, it's real, and it's absolutely manageable, but only if you go into it prepared. The home price is just the beginning of the conversation. There's mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA, utilities, transportation, personal property tax bills in January, and that, my friends, is the full picture. And guys, you deserve the full picture before you commit. Listen, your season is here. The land is yours to possess, and God has already made the way for you. Connect with me and let's make sure you step into it with wisdom and not just excitement. You can call me or text me at 757-837-0096. Let's build your strategy together, your income, your timeline, and your goals. And that is what our first conversation is going to be about. And if you want to see exactly what life in Short Pump looks like up close, the neighborhoods, the amenities, what the lifestyle really feels like from day to day, y'all, I made a whole video on Short Pump and I'll link it right here for you, okay? That one is definitely going to be worth your time. Friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Your support absolutely means the world to me. You can check out the resources in the description below so that you can stay educated on Virginia real estate, or just reach out and get in touch. 757-837-0096, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.